Fucking state of this.
Right, okay, so we've just had to restart.
Take 2.
This is the first time we've ever restarted our podcast, because usually we just fucking steam
Just push
on
through
ahead.
it. Just keep going. But we made so many mistakes, we've had to stop.
Oh, right, so...
I don't even... Oh my God, they've missed out on such good
We've
content.
missed out on the Blue Lagoon.
I know everything. All those things we just talked about.
So, we'll say what we're drinking. You're drinking...
I am drinking Smirnoff Ice with more vodka in it, with Absolute in it. And Jamie's drinking Blue WKD with Smirnoff Ice in it and Absolute in it. So
Can I just say...
she's basically having a shit mix in a really nice Habitat gin glass.
It is. Let's do a little... So you can hear the crystal.
Ooh.
Oh,
you
you
can't
were
know.
holding
Sorry,
that
I
bit.
was
You gotta
holding...
hold the stem.
I fucked it up.
Ready?
Ready? That was exactly the fucking same.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Shitty
that reminded
crystal.
me, because you've got 2 different
Shit
brands.
straw.
Because you've got 2 different brands. You've got Absolute Vodka and Smirnoff.
Smirnoff
Right.
Ice.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Were you ever told not to mix 2 brands of battery?
What
You know
to
when you-
eat?
No. You know, like if
You
you've got a
shouldn't
Duracell
drink or
battery...
eat batteries ever.
You know, if you've got like a Duracell battery and like a Canon battery...
No, I wasn't.
I was, and that just reminded me, oh shit, like I don't know why, my brain just went, you're not meant to mix that.
I've got a feeling that's because old batteries used to run off different things, somewhat alkaline and somewhat acid. Is that right? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that's right. And you
maybe.
couldn't mix acid and alkaline batteries.
So people just used to stick to the same
Yeah.
brand, right? Anyway, so what we were discussing is that my drink looks like a gorgeous little, and Jess described it as a pool. And I said, the thing is, Jess...
Yeah, because her drink looks
Pools.
like she's just like got a big goblet of swimming pool chlorine.
Yeah,
That's what
of
her drink
water,
looks like.
Of swimming pool water. And I said, Jessica, the thing is, the swimming pool water isn't actually blue. The tiles at the bottom of the water make it look blue.
Which I had not considered.
Yeah.
Which has ruined it for me because I always thought I was swimming in beautiful blue water.
You know that you could see your skin colour underneath
Yeah, I
the
know.
water. and it
I've
was
just
the exact
never
same
thought
colour.
it through. Just one of them things that you just don't consider.
I need to take you swimming then, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Maybe
That's
in
the
another
real
country.
reason. That's the real reason this has happened, Jamie, because you don't take me swimming enough.
I took you to Cuba
Yeah, I know.
and we went swimming.
And I still thought the water was blue.
Oh.
So it's your fault,
Did you
really.
think that the chlorine made the water blue?
Yeah, I did. I've always thought
And
that.
now, and this is why, like you can tell because you grew up near the Blue Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon is a disused quarry. Some of you will know what this is. If you don't, you need to look it up because you're not going to believe what I'm going to say. It's a disused quarry in Buxton, near Buxton, that I grew up near, and it is absolutely stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, the pictures are gorgeous.
It is also very, very dangerous. Not only because it's a disused quarry, but because over the years, whatever it is in the rocks or whatever has made the pH level of that water, even though it's absolutely stunning, it's turquoise. It looks like you're in fucking,
Right.
I don't know, in the fucking Caribbean or something.
Right, and I just Googled it and it said the pH level is the same, is about between 11 and 12, which is the same as ammonia and household bleach.
Yeah, so all the way through my childhood, and even now, people get in it and swim. In the summer, everyone I knew got in it and was swimming in it. And it was getting more and more dangerous. People were having accidents there. They were coming out covered in rashes and burns and shit. And
If you Google Blue Lagoon Buxton, one of the
comes
first
up.
headlines is that it can burn through skin.
yeah. Anyway, the council dyed it black in lockdown to try and get people to stop fucking swimming in it because it's really dangerous. And then they did this like deep dive of it, and there's fucking cars pushed in there, and there's fucking carcasses of animals and skeletons they found. All sorts of fucking shit in there. So they were trying to say to people, please don't go in there. Please stop swimming in it. It's a risk to your life. Everyone was like, no, fuck off. We like it. So then they dyed it black.
Yeah, but the black dye doesn't last very long.
No. So now if you go on like Instagram or you go on like Google, you can see the pictures of Blue Lagoon.
If you go onto Instagram and type in Blue Lagoon Buxton and then go onto places and look at the photos, that's it.
Yeah.
But actually, it can like kill you.
Yeah, so please don't go there and swim in it. It's dead dangerous.
You're not actually allowed to go there at all, is it? It's
you're not supposed
land.
to. No, yeah, you're not supposed to go on there at all. I want to know who the fuck's responsible for that, because the disused quarry. What if they done just gone? Oh fucking! I've had enough of fucking quarrying. Fuck quarrying.
How has that happened though? Is it because of what is it? Is it the sand or whatever is around there that's caused the water to go that? Like what?
I think it's the rocks in the quarry changes the pH level of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, what were we talk? Oh, hang on a minute. Our puppy is crying. Hang on, we're just going to go check if she's okay. So we'll just pause it. Okay, sorry, we're back. That was like 1 second for you, but it was like 15 minutes for us. Obviously, having a puppy means that, you have to check they're okay at all times.
Yes, it's like having a newborn baby.
Except she's like having, the stampede from Jumanji. She's like having that in your house all the time.
She's massive. I love her so much. Castro loves her as well.
Castro loves her when she's being good.
Yeah. Castro loves her when she's being naughty and she tips cream everywhere.
Tips cream everywhere. Oh my god. Anyway, right. You wanted to, before we get into today's topic on women's safety, you wanted to talk about the women's bingo. Sorry, my voice is breaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was something you don't know about me is that I'm actually a 12-year-old boy.
So this month I got an email from a lovely woman from Womankind. And if you can find them on Twitter, they're at woman_kind, right? And they're a charity and organisation. And this month, throughout March, they're doing a feminist bingo. And they said that, and the woman was saying that loads of people there listen to Wonder Woman podcast.
Yeah, so we should say hi.
You. Yeah, hi. And basically, all throughout this month, even if you only just start now, anytime in March, you can play their feminist bingo.
Yep.
And each day they do different things like challenging your own privilege, loads of different exercises, things that you can win. I'm definitely gonna have a look. I've been following it a bit. You can, there's ones where you can do like colouring. Well, like sort of colouring in a chart and stuff. Yeah. Which you wouldn't be good at because you're not good at colouring.
I'm shit at colouring.
Yeah, you can't see in the lines.
No, I can't. Also, this one time because I'm also shit at geography and history, like really, really bad at both of these. Like, it's not even a joke. It's not like, Jess sometimes doesn't know the dates of things. No, I am just absolutely shocking at geography and history. I don't, to the point where if I would never ever go even take part in a pub quiz because it would just be horrific. And one time, the two worst possible things you could ever ask me to do came at once when I was in like year 9 or year 10 or something, and they asked me to colour in a map of the world, and all I had to do was colour in the fucking sea in the correct places and the fucking land in the correct places. And I worked so hard on not getting it out of the lines because I'm so bad at colouring, and I finished it. And then the teacher just went, Jessica, you've coloured all the sea in green and all the land in blue. Did you not notice that the world doesn't look like that? And I was like, no.
Anyway.
I was just trying to get it in the lines.
Anyway, if you go and follow Womankind, I don't think there's any maps to be coloured in. I don't think anyone is going to tell you off, especially not your geography teacher.
I'm so happy.
For colouring them in the wrong colour. But yeah, it's a great idea actually. It's a really nice thing, especially in lockdown. It's something you can actually get involved in.
Agreed.
You can't.
Not
do
me.
The colouring.
I'm not good enough.
Well, you are good enough, but I wouldn't. If you were to do like the charts and stuff and colour them in, I wouldn't share them if I was you.
Wow, that's brutally honest.
Yeah, it is.
But I agree because I'm shit at it.
Anyway, so today's podcast, tonight's, we hope that you're drinking with us and we hope it's a night, is on women's safety.
We have had a couple of weeks, have we not?
It's been
It's been
It's been
fucking
horrific.
triggering as shit.
Yeah, it's been horrific. It's like we've both cried so many times the last few weeks.
It's been really hard.
It has. And it's been so hard. And like, one of the things, and if you're active in feminism, you probably are if you listen to this podcast, is that we know this shit isn't rare. We know this shit happens all the time. But with the constant media attention that, you know, it rightfully deserves, every woman who has been, you know, subjected to male violence and unfortunately lost their lives deserves all of the media attention they get. If it's, you know, if it's in a positive way.
If it's fucking supportive.
Yeah, if it's supportive, which it has been in Sarah Everard's case. But it, you know, it doesn't usually. Which means that at the moment, we're hearing about it all the time.
Yeah. So we wanted to, like, I guess, process some of that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the best. I think that's one of the best ways we can start.
Of course. I want to just start by saying that if you go on to the easiest way to find it, Jess created an entire course on looking after yourself after you've been subjected to sexual violence.
It's free.
Yeah, it's totally free.
Anonymous.
It's got loads of different like videos and all sorts that you can sort of help to whilst you're processing trauma. The easiest way to find it is to go onto Jess's Facebook page, which is Dr. Jessica Taylor, and then it's the pinned post at the top of the page.
Oh yeah, forget that it's pinned there. You can go on the website and find it.
It's much easier to
easy
find it on Facebook. So if anything, you know, if you need any sort of help after this, or you know, if you just want to work through some things, because unfortunately, what was it? Was it who was it who did the what's it called? Survey that found that 97% of women have been sexually harassed.
I think it was something to do with UN Women, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and also
it was 1,000 women were between 18 and 25 were surveyed.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a low. That's not like a massive amount, but because
well,
I think it was
in some of these fucking studies these days, you'd be surprised what passes for what they think is a big sample.
Yeah,
you can get them on like 300 people. But anyway,
I don't think it's incorrect though. I think that's
no, it's not incorrect. 1,000 is classed as a very good sample.
No, I mean I think 97% at least.
At least, yeah,
has
been sexually
correct.
harassed. Absolutely. I think I don't know about you, but I think I found it a mixture of things. So at first I felt like I was holding it together quite well, and then I got gradually angrier and angrier as the days went on, and then when the vigil took place and I saw the footage of the police officers like dragging fucking young women across a floor, I just cried. There was nothing. I had nothing left at that point, and I just couldn't listen. I couldn't listen to that anymore.
Yeah, I think that was like super hard. And I think it triggers a lot of women at the end of the day, because we've all been in that position when you've been walking home on your own or walking somewhere on your own. And I don't know a single woman who hasn't thought the worst.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the worst happened to Sarah.
I wanted to talk about... So let's, like, because I'm deliberately trying to move away from the case.
Can I just say
because
one
we don't
thing?
want to.
Can I just say one thing in relation to that?
As long as it's not evidential, because we don't.
No, of course not. No, of course not. Is that even though all this shit has gone on, and like it's been awful, and there has been, you know, not all men. I have noticed a shift in the way men are behaving in public, and that might just be me, but for example, we went for a walk with the dogs the other day, and a male runner, we were the only people in this like massive park sort of area, a male runner was sort of running behind us, and I could tell by the look on his face, he stopped, was like hello, and did a big smile at us. It was like he was saying,
and he gave us a lot of space as well.
Yeah, he gave us loads of space, which isn't usual.
Yeah,
and,
no, usually
you
when
could tell by the look on his face, he was saying, I understand. I'm not a threat. I know what's going on. I'm not a threat.
Yeah, because we were in a forest.
Yeah.
On our own, and it was like, It's nearly 6 o'clock at night. Sun was going down, wasn't it?
But loads of things have been happening similar to that with us. And, you know, as two lesbians, people tend, like, a lot of men sort of look at us. And they do. And you know, we are different, especially in the little town that we're in now. We are different. But men are really, in my experience, I think they are starting to understand. And they are starting to act upon it. Even that other man, he was like, oh, there's a woman over there and she looks really sad.
I know, that was...
And I'm not really the sort of person who could talk to her because, you know, I'm like a man and I don't want her to be scared. So maybe you could just give her a smile.
I just turned an effect on. I'm so sorry. I think I might have just turned an effect on the podcast that was like people applauding. I'm so sorry. So basically, Castro was giving us a cuddle, and just at that moment, she decided to jump off, and she knocked my phone. And I've got a feeling that while you were just talking about that man who was worried about that girl on a bench, that I may have pressed whatever that is. And we never use effects on this podcast because we're not fucking 12. So sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, of course, but I it shouldn't have to have been that this has happened for any sort of turning point. But I think there is something going on. And I think that is... maybe I'm just traumatised and I want it to be happening. I don't know. But anyway, so this podcast is on women's safety. We're going to be talking about solutions that people have suggested.
And that are going ahead in some cases.
Myths, stereotypes, and all sorts of things.
And maybe, like, if we have time, maybe we should talk about what we think the solution should be. So I wanted to start off with some of the stupid solutions that have been suggested. And I wanted to quickly tell you a story about an interview I was asked to do this week or last week, that I was asked to give statements and essentially the psychological evidence around a particular solution. And then I did the entire interview, and then they were like basically refused to use any of my answers because I didn't agree with it, which was a fucking waste of my time. So one of the things that I've seen as being a solution to all of this male violence against women is more street lighting, which I do not believe is the answer to male violence, because men are not badgers. And they don't just come out at night in the dark to offend and then go sleep all day and don't offend you in the day because it's light. I don't really understand where that's come... Well, I do. As a psychologist, I do, because the theory suggests that when we are faced with a massive problem like this, we don't blame perpetrators, we blame context, or we blame the victim. So instead of going, the solution to male violence is that men have to change, we go, oh, it's you shouldn't have got in that taxi, or there should be more street lighting, or where's the CCTV, or why were you walking in a park? So it becomes about the context instead of the perpetrator. So the instant response of like, we need more street lights everywhere, that is a trauma response. It's like, it's counterfactual thinking. It's the blaming of something irrelevant for the male violence, because it makes you feel more in control, like you've found the solution. Because by claiming you found the solution, you can make yourself feel psychologically safer. And this journalist had rang me doing this huge piece on it in the news, and was like saying to me, so do you support, more street lights? I was like, not really. And then I told her exactly that. She was
saying that there's a massive campaign for more lighting in Clapham Common.
Yeah, and then another common in Wales and another somewhere else, and that they're all doing it now, saying that all these parks have to be fully floodlit all night.
I'm sorry, but
I just don't understand how that would help.
Not many women go there anyway. When I used to run, there was... Do you know? Look at me. Do you know?
What? I've had a drink.
Hang on.
You know I've got a mic on, don't you?
Shit.
Yeah, no, I do, yeah.
I used to, when I was running, and I used to run a lot. I used to run in early in the mornings and late at night, just because I was studying. It was pitch black in there, and someone followed me through there once. And I can see, people. I think people feel more vulnerable when they're being followed in the dark, because I've just thought, I was followed in the dark, and it was one of the most scariest things that's ever happened to me. Whilst I was running through this like pitch black place, but I've been followed loads of times in perfectly lit areas. I've been followed on the way to school by men.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does feel a lot more dangerous in the dark.
But that's because of the stereotypes that we are told from a young age that rapists and murderers will, attack you out of a bush in the dark and drag you somewhere. So what we've got to understand is that some of these solutions that we're coming up with, they're coming from the myths around stranger danger. They're not real solutions. They're solutions that are embedded in our psyche over a long period of time because people kept telling us stories about bad men that jump out of bushes at night time. Now, that doesn't mean that those types of crimes don't happen, but what it does mean is that the solution should not follow an extremely rare stereotype or myth. Streetlights will not solve male violence. The majority of all male violence is committed in the home, in fucking broad daylight, or in anywhere, in your car, in your workplace, in your home, in front of your family, in front of your own kids. Perpetrators aren't waiting until you turn the fucking light off.
People feel like they have less control over perpetrators who are just in the general public than they do at home.
Yeah.
That's why so many women tend to stay in DV. Like I know I did. I felt that I can control it. I know what to do. Blah blah blah. I fucking don't. But you feel more in control than when a random man is following you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the dark as well. And things are much more scary in the dark because you can't see them.
I know, but I just don't. So
and
say
nobody
for example,
else can see them.
But so
people think that they're going to be put off if other people can see what they're about to do.
But they're not.
Which is
That's
the same
the
for
thing.
CCTV. I know. I agree. There's loads of times that
did you
CCTV
see the
has
horrible
caught things.
I don't know if you saw it, but did you see the horrible footage of the Jewish woman that got attacked by that man yesterday? Mm-mm. And it just so happened there was a camera at the end of the street that caught it. It was broad fucking daylight in the middle of the afternoon, and she was just walking. She was heavily pregnant, and she was just walking, back from the shops. And you see on the footage...
Was it racially aggravated or...
They don't know yet. They don't know. But this dude just walks behind her and he picks his pace up and he picks his pace up. And then out of his... It was premeditated. He pulled something out of his pocket, almost like a cloth bag, and put it over her head to suffocate her in broad daylight in a street. And then he fucking punched her repeatedly in the stomach. And
She's alive?
Yeah.
What about her baby?
I think they're okay so far. She's been in hospital, I think. That attack was caught in daylight, and that's what I'm saying is that streetlights are one of those types of solutions where someone goes, yeah, let's throw 10 grand at that, and then they'll shut up because they've got the lights.
I would feel safer with streetlights and cameras.
But we have streetlights on our street, babe, and you don't like going out walking the dogs in the fucking streetlights.
I'd be even worse if there was no streetlights. Not a chance would I go out.
But you don't go out with the streetlights.
I would do. I wouldn't like it, but I would. I feel much better when we take the bins out. The way our sort of garden is, we've got a sort of a hedge, and outside of our house it's quite dark. But once you go up the driveway, it's light because the street light's there. And I feel much better taking the bin out at the edge of the drive than do.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I don't know. I don't think at the end of the day we can say all these things. Like, we need streetlights, we need cameras. If cameras stopped male violence, then we wouldn't catch any male violence on camera, would we?
No. But also, you can fucking put as much streetlights and CCTV as you like. Right, do you know how many fucking offences are caught on CCTV, the police NFA?
Oh, I know.
Mine was when I was attacked years ago, and I had stitches in my face and all my gums sewn back up and everything. That was caught under a fucking camera.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What we need to understand about misogynistic systems and racist systems is that they won't fucking care if it's on camera. They're not gonna suddenly treat you better as a victim because you've got camera evidence.
Yeah,
because they don't.
They're not. No, of course they're not.
Like, so I don't know what it is we think we're achieving with the CCTV either, because in principle that makes total sense. In a society where the justice system works, then obviously CCTV footage would be fucking so vital to your case, except it isn't. I know loads of cases with CCTV where it's fallen down.
Yeah.
And it's the type of case where on paper you think, well, that's obviously going to go through.
Yeah.
Because it was caught on camera. Nope.
But they
It's not
don't
how it
care.
works.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
And then you've got the solution of putting undercover police officers
At the end of the
clubs
day,
and all.
it doesn't matter how much evidence you've got when we normalise, excuse and ignore male violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was in court as a victim and a witness, there was biological evidence, there was evidence of physical trauma internally, all sorts. There was live texts, live calls that they were able to retrieve.
Yeah.
Didn't go anywhere.
No.
Like, it and that's why, Harriet and the Centre for Women's Justice have coined the term the effective decriminalisation of rape.
Yeah. I know.
And it's the same for all, like, violent crimes, unfortunately, against women.
Mm-hmm. What did you think when you heard about the suggestion to put undercover coppers in bars and clubs to protect women?
Honestly, like, women especially have been saying, we told you police don't care about us, we told you police are misogynistic, we told you that we don't feel safe around police. And like, oh yeah, that's so true, I know what we'll do. We'll put more of them, but you're not actually going to know that they're police. No, nobody is asking for that.
Yeah, can you imagine if like all the feminist and women's services stood up and was like, we've all thought about it and what we've decided we want is secret police. And we want them...
It's like the SpyCops bill.
I was just about to say that. I can't imagine how the SpyCops victims feel about the prospect of having undercover police put in bars, restaurants and clubs.
Yeah.
I really can't... Like,
also,
honestly,
if anyone's wondering about the SpyCops bill, the best source I can send you to is Zara Sultana's speech in Parliament.
And I would actually suggest going and reading about Helen Steele and the work she did around SpyCops.
But if you want it within 3 minutes, Zara's speech was excellent.
Yeah, but her speech...
And she explains what that is.
Her speech is about the...
Policy.
About the policy around...
Yeah.
What's it called? Something policing. I'm trying to think what the actual correct term is. But in terms of what was actually meant by SpyCops, that was the campaign that was led by Helen Steele of the women who were victims of undercover police who married them, went into long-term relationships with them. Some of them had children with them. And they were undercover police that were actually spying on them because they were activists or because they were suspicious of them or because they were trying to shut them up or whatever.
Let's talk about Helen.
Helen is like...
Helen is incredible.
She just blows my mind. The fucking stuff that woman is capable of. Someone needs to bottle whatever the fuck her brain is and sell it.
And she's so... I've had the pleasure of meeting her once. And she is the most just humble woman. And she is so clever.
Oh my God, yeah.
She's... So basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Jess. Helen was the first person to ever successfally sue McDonald's. If
in
you
the
look
McLibel case.
Yeah, and if you look up hashtag McLibel. And basically, it was the government, right, who were like, who is this woman? How has she been able to sue McDonald's? We need to keep an eye on her. She was also a climate activist.
She was, indeed.
And they were like, well, who the fuck is this woman? And then she was unfortunately a victim of the SpyCops operation.
Yeah.
Which led to the mysterious suicide of husband, right?
I'm trying to remember exactly. I don't know whether you would... Hang on 1 second. There you go. Okay, let me read it out to you so we're accurate about Helen's experience of being a victim of the UK SpyCops scandal.
And it sounds like conspiracy, right? But it isn't.
No, I know. That's so true. What Jamie just said, though, is so true. It's the type of story that you would listen to and someone would go, well, that's bollocks, except it wasn't. And women were targeted by UK police, and they, were in these long-term relationships with men. So anyway, let me read it to you. So she was a victim of this UK SpyCops scandal, and she was deceived by an undercover police officer, John Dines, who was working undercover as part of a wider police operation to gain information on campaigners that were involved in Greenpeace. So he deliberately met with Helen and began a relationship which lasted 2 years. They lived together, they discussed starting a family together, and they were going to try for a baby. And then after 2 years, he literally just disappeared. Told her he'd had a breakdown and just completely fucked off. And then Helen had spent years, because some of the others had they'd faked their own deaths. Yeah. So Helen, spent years searching for him and was devastated. And then it was during that time that she found out that he was using the identity of a dead child. And that was when she managed to track him down and confronted him in 2016, which was many, many years later.
But how intelligent is Helen that she realised that her and many other women whose husbands had mysteriously disappeared were all using identities of dead children?
I know.
And this is in the UK. This is what the UK government and justice system and all sorts are using. And this isn't conspiracy. This is why I say, go and look at Zara Sultana's speech. She says that in the House of Commons. She's an MP, right? Not that she's going to acknowledge Helen Steele because she's a Rad fan, but
On it, I can't remember quite how. Because we're talking about police being. But honestly, if you don't know who Helen Steele is and you don't know what the SpyCops is and stuff, and you're just sat here listening, thinking, what on earth? You need to just go and read about it.
The new bill will essentially allow SpyCops, and it allows so many different local authorities, whether even food standards, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get the legislation up now.
Commit acts of rape, of murder, sexual violence, all sorts, if they feel that the person they're doing it against is going to, upset public economy, all sorts. There's so many different things.
Here you go, I found it so we can get it right. I want to make sure we get the bill right. Just reading about it. I've already written a thread on this, but I've had a drink, so I don't remember the name of the bill, specifically the name of it. But it essentially authorises, like Jamie said, Department of Work and Pensions, Food Standards Agency.
Anyone from DWP, Food Standards, all the way up to MI5.
Yeah, to be able to commit crime and not be
They're doing this retrospectively. They're putting this in retrospectively because there's a massive case going on at the moment.
There is indeed, yeah.
Something to do with MI5 committing acts of rape and murder.
Yep.
And they're trying to, backdate it and make sure it's legally covered. Which is so scary in itself, but it unfortunately confirms everything that women have been saying for fucking decades about we don't trust police because of this, this and this. We don't trust systems because of this, this and this.
I'm actually really annoyed by the amount of police who I know personally and respect in professional capacity that have come out to be not all police though, not all I'm not like that, not all police
yes, we know.
I know
we
that.
know.
Shut up. We get do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating. It's it's the equivalent of us talking about male violence and rape and then dudes popping up being yeah, but not all men, I don't rape women. Yeah, we fucking know. We're not saying that. But you have to accept at some level that we have created a system that is inherently misogynistic, that doesn't respond well to criticism of any kind.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. It does not respond well to any criticism.
You can criticise police for the tiniest thing. They lose their fucking minds.
Do you remember when I was going through the process with my perpetrator, and he'd used like knives and stuff, and then the officer dealing with my case was like, you know, we have got more important things to deal with right now. We've had some knife crime recently, and I'm like, right.
I know, I remember that.
Like,
what an actual
was
fucking
mine not
tool.
knife crime?
Yeah. Obviously yours wasn't counted as knife crime because it was just domestic violence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you know, don't even get me started. But like,
but no, like this, it just goes back to the point that no, I don't think most women would feel comfortable.
I wouldn't.
Like, thinking there's going to be undercover police here.
I'm not being funny, but I don't know how that's supposed to make any of us feel better at all. And I'll tell you something now. They'd end up fucking obsessed with drugs. Because there's already undercover officers and police there in certain venues anyway. You'd be stupid to think there wasn't.
Really?
I was in a club in Birmingham, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Maybe a bit like fucking hell. Years are just passing me by. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago, actually. And I was in there, and it's so odd how you can pick out undercover officers if you know what to look for.
Oh, right. And what do you look for?
Just fucking body language and like eye contact, and the fact that they'll be positioned in particular places. So if you've got one guy that's behaving in one place and you move your head to the side, and you've got another guy in your periphery that's acting in similar way to the first guy, and then you turn around, you've got another guy behind you that's acting similarly to the other two guys, you can guarantee there's a team in there. Do you know what I mean? I was in a huge club in Birmingham, and I was stood chatting to my friends, and I just thought, what the fuck is going on here? Like, that I'd seen probably 4 or 5 men that were not behaving in a way that made sense to me. I hadn't had that much to drink. You know, I don't tend to get drunk anyway. And I just remember thinking, who are these men and what is happening? And I couldn't keep my eyes off them because they were like not blending in.
Yeah.
They were too still. They were watching a particular perpetrator, or they were watching two perpetrators, whatever was going on. And then, just as if they had obviously seen something that I hadn't seen, and they fucking jumped on this bloke. And it caused a massive ruckus in the middle of this club. And I thought, oh, I was right. They were undercover officers.
Bet it was drugs. And wouldn't it be amazing if they actually came when we were making calls about DV?
I know. I remember just seeing it though, and then like I've seen a load of memes on the internet about, you know, us, like people mocking, like, you seen that meme of that young lad shouting in that girl's face while she just like stares off into the distance, and people have like memed it about like undercover police officers. And that's, you know, there's 2 ways to look at this. I'm sorry, but you are going to get men saying they're undercover officers when they're not.
Yeah, of course
you are going to get that happening. But you're also going to get undercover officers misusing that power.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you are.
Yeah, you are.
You fucking are. You put blokes in a club where their job is to stand around.
Like normal officers who get to go undercover.
Oh, I know.
Like, they fucking love it.
Oh, God,
I'm sorry if anyone's an officer and you're listening, like, if you listen, you're probably not one of those at the end of the day.
I'm sorry, I have had so many bad experiences with police, and that's in a professional and a personal capacity.
I've had a couple of good...
There's always good ones.
I've had a couple of really good ones. I remember this one time I had to go and report before, like a few weeks before the trial, me and my friend were getting followed around by the perps, and she was literally, her head was in her hand, she was rubbing her face, and she was like, they know exactly what they're doing, but we can't get this to, if we put this in court, like it would just get laughed out of court. and she knew exactly. Do you know what I mean?
But this is
those
the
sort of
thing
officers who know how bad the system is, but they can't do anything about it.
I often find, though, that the officers that feel like that resign and they go and do something else.
Yeah.
They do, you know.
She was really nice. She made
and
me
they should,
feel like I was
honestly,
believed.
if I ever met an officer, or if there's officers listening who feel like that, and they know full well that the system's fucked, and that there's all sorts of corrupt fuckers in their force, and that there's the misogyny, the racism, the homophobia, and all the other shit going on, for God's sake, save yourself, leave, and go and do something else with your career. You've built a load of experience and a load of knowledge. Don't fucking waste it there. Go and work with victims.
I have the opposite opinion. I think that they're the most important ones. And they
get bullied, though.
They do get bullied. And
they have a really rough time in forces.
Like, the officers who probably like 2 or 3 out of 5 were excellent with me.
I think I am a lot more sceptical about this, but that's because in all the years that I've ever worked on all these cases with women and girls, in CSE, CSA,
it's not the officers
rape,
who get the say, though, is it?
No, I was going to say it's officers that I've had to deal with saying horrific shit about victims.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many times you can pull officers, and I'm talking about loads of different forces as well, from all over the country, because of the work I was doing was everywhere. There's only so many times you can literally sit an officer down and be like, right, but she's a child, isn't she? So it's not her fault.
Mm.
Like, how many times do I have to have that conversation?
Yeah.
It's exhausting, and you just sort of feel like you're going round in circles. Like these are the people you're supposed to trust with extremely traumatised, vulnerable victims of crime, and yet you're having to say, yeah, but she's 12.
But at the same time, the thing is, when these people are doing this job day in, day out, and they think that, oh, this woman's come to me and yeah, of course I believe her. Like, why wouldn't I believe her? This has happened to her. And each time, it's not getting a conviction, it's not getting a conviction, it's not getting a conviction. And they are stuck in this job because that's what they've done their degree in. They've done their degree in policing. There's like nowhere else to go. And they want to make a difference in the world, and they want to be on, they want to be doing good. This sort of thing is sort of bound to happen, isn't it?
It wouldn't do if they were correctly resourced, correctly trained.
Well, I think all police officers deserve to have some sort of clinical...
Yeah, they need counselling every month.
Clinical, counselling.
Yeah, they do.
Because the shit that they're dealing with... I watched one thing that a police officer has to deal with, and I'm, traumatised for the next week thinking about whatever I've just seen.
Yeah.
They have to deal with this shit, 5 times a day.
But you have the really patriarchal, culture of, well, if they seek help or they need therapy or they're not coping with the trauma, then they're weak and they're not good enough officers.
Mm.
I don't see the solution in this in being, more officers in women's spaces and street lights and all that sort of stuff. It has to come from full cultural change. We would have to have reform in so many different areas of public and private life. This is I guess the way you've got to think about it is that... It
would help if we prosecuted more than 1.5 of rape reports.
Yeah. But it's bigger than that, because what you're looking at here is probably about a couple of millennia of the development of misogyny, global misogyny. So it won't get fixed by fucking undercover police in nightclubs or streetlights. Do you know what I mean? It's a massive, massive issue. Women are not safe because we live in a culture that supports the hatred of women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when we're having this debate, it feels so fucking insurmountable, because it is.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't undo thousands of years of culture, religion, tradition, gender role stereotyping, objectification, murder and abuse of women in a week.
No. I do think we are making a lot of progress, though. I really do. I've seen people share things online and they're not doing it. I feel like some men are getting it.
I hope so, because that's the only way it'll change.
Yeah. But obviously, like, we've not got where we need to yet.
Nowhere near.
And
I
women's safety, like, even in this, we could have talked about so much more. All we've managed to talk about is the police thing.
I know, yeah.
We could talk about this for so long.
Maybe we should try and do it again, but we better go anyway.
Yeah.
I thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who's listened. Please get in touch, or please let us know what you think, your opinions or whatever.